And good Sunday morning to you, Charleston and the world. Welcome in. You are on KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin. Kicking off here, part one, the Drew Howard Show. Be with you this morning until about 10:30. Going to be here for the next hour and a half, Lord willing. Got a big show planned for you. Then we're going to mix it up a little bit. Got some videos coming from last year at the Free Your Mind 2 conference. Play a little bit of the Jim Fetzer video to take you to the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. That's when Nick O'Kelly takes over for the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly. From 11 to 1, he'll have you then. But right now, let's go ahead and get into the Drew Howard Show right here for the next, usually 2 hours. This morning, some stuff come up. It's only going to be an hour and a half, but still big, packed show. Starting off the top with Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal delivering the keynote address during the Faith and Freedoms Coalition Road to Majority event in Washington yesterday. And he made some very candid statements about the temperature that's brewing underneath the American population here. And he says, rebellion brewing against Washington. Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal on Saturday night accused President Barack Obama and other Democrats of waging wars against religious liberty and education, and said that a rebellion is brewing in the U.S. with people ready for a hostile takeover of the nation's capital. Of course, Jindal's came on the scene really in 2008, became a forerunner for that election before the nomination obviously went to McCain, but it really has been on the warpath since then. You probably saw him in the season premiere of this season of Duck Dynasty. He was on there giving an award to Duck Commander and making a speech, but definitely some interesting marks, and I think he's right. You know, we're not. And let me go ahead and preface this and say, we do not want a violent revolution here at the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, here at Sit and Spin Radio. Nick O'Kelly, myself, we don't want that because we're waking people up. Every day, people are waking up. They're seeing this tyrannical government. They're seeing how corrupt it is. And we can take it back. We have a great chance this fall through the elections. We already saw Eric Cantor getting the boot in Virginia. Tea parties are winning across the country. Liberty's hot. Liberty's trending. You know, hashtag Liberty. It's going to be popular this summer. It's going to be the hit of the summer. You wait and see. And you know, Bruno Mars or anything else you're going to care about. You're going to care about liberty this summer because you're not going to have a future if you don't. And folks, the globalists, they want to start a fighting war. They want to start a hot war here. They don't want this to be a Cold War, info war, a liberty war. They want this to be blood in the streets, cops versus returning vets, Christians, conservatives, libertarians, gun owners, people that wear tri-cornered hats. If you fly the Gadsden flag or Culpeper Rebellion flag or a flag from Gonzales, Texas, they're coming to take your guns. That's what the illegals are here for. The illegals are here to become legal, get their voting cards, and vote to take our guns, take our freedom of speech, take our Fourth Amendment rights, take our Fifth Amendment rights. You name it, they're going down the list. That's where it starts. The governor said there was a silent war on religious liberty being fought in the U.S., a country, he said, that was built on that liberty. I'm tired of the left. They say they're for tolerance. They say they respect diversity. The reality is they respect everybody unless you happen to disagree with them, he said. The left is trying to silence us, and I'm tired of it. I won't take it anymore. This is coming out of foxnews.com. You can find the article on there. It's also linked up on Drudge Report. So that's just one of the big stories. You're hearing governors start talking about the possibility of heating up to a war. And this isn't what we want, folks. Let's make that clear. You know, yes, we understand that if it comes to a violent rebellion, that is perfectly in our nature and is perfectly within our constitutional and founding rights to overthrow a government when it becomes corrupt. However, we don't want to do that. Last time we fought a civil war, folks, 600,000 people died. And the population was only a fraction of what it is now. This would be catastrophic. We're talking in the tens to hundreds of millions of people that would be laying dead if we go into the Civil War. That's not what we want. What we want is for this government to wake up, realize that they're screwing over the American taxpayer, and have a change of heart. We don't want to go to the gates of Mordor here for liberty. We will if we have to, but we want it to be how the Grinch stole Christmas, and we want Obama's heart to grow 3 sizes and realize just how bad he's screwing over the American population, and maybe just put all the gifts back, put all the roast hoobies back. That's the ending we want here at Sit and Spin Radio. Is that the ending we think we're going to get? No, that's not the ending we deserve either, but that's the ending we want. That's the ending we're striving for. Pray for peace, prepare for war. And I think that's Jindal's statements here. And you see it kind of reiterating what Rand Paul said about there's a war on humanity, which I really wanted to get into today, the article that was in Breitbart about that. The conference featured the most well-known Republicans considering a 2016 presidential run, including New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Jindal is expected to announce after the November midterm elections whether or not he'll launch a presidential bid. You see him appearing on Duck Dynasty, making these statements. I think it's pretty safe to say he's going to throw his hat into the ring for 2016. We'll see, but I think that's a pretty safe assumption. We got ISIS news to get into today. We got Jews leaving France in mass numbers, exiting to Israel. The Presbyterian Church votes to divest its interests in Israel. We've got a transgendered bishop preaching at the National Cathedral today. A lot of news going on. A lot of news. And, the Pope took on the mafia. We want to get into that and possible repercussions there. Is the Pope out of control? We know he's a socialist. We know he's a statist, a Jesuit. Jesuits weren't supposed to be the actual popes, but he is in this case. So where are we going to get to? And that's part of what we're going to play from the Free Your Mind conference, too, at the bottom of the next hour. So stick with us. Very big show today. Biden has a squirt gun fight with reporters. Well, you can't take a squirt gun to an elementary school or else you're going to get suspended and be labeled a terrorist for taking a violent squirt gun with you. But it's great to see our vice president, Freudian slip there. Our vice president there can have squirt guns on the White House lawn. Nobody seems scared. It's good to know. And I'm all for the gun culture. I think it's good for kids to have water gun fights, to have super soaker fights, to have water balloon fights. I think it's good for kids to play paintball. We used to have BB gun fights when I was a kid. It gets you used to protecting yourself, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. And no matter what your Obama supporters out there want you to believe, we got the videos here of them saying, well, if somebody had a gun, they can just kill me. I'm not going to fight back. We got those videos here. I'll play them after the first break. It's just, I believe you have the right to defend yourself. All that and much more. We're going to go ahead and get into the first break here. It's a little bit of a off day with the shortened schedule, so I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. We're going to get into the first break. We'll come back, settle in. Some big things I want to talk about today. Free will is an illusion. That's a big story we mentioned yesterday on the weekend sit and spin with Nick O'Kelly and myself, but we never really got into. So I do want to get into that today too about is free will an illusion? Major scientists are saying it is. I don't think so. I think free will is the greatest gift given to us by God. It endowed by our Creator with free will. It's the greatest gift He gave us. That's the way I view it, but I'm not a New World Order shill, Soros-backed Nazi scientist. So what do I know? I know a lot. That's why you listen to us. Jump in the chat box. Spreaker.com, KineticHiFi.com. We're in the chat box both places. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, Part 1, The Drew Howard Show. Kinetic Hi-Fi, Spreaker.com. Let's get some plugs in real quick. I want to say I had a great time last night out at Pug's Tavern in Somerville. Phil Hogan, amazing comedian, very funny. Half music, half comedy, entirely funny. Great time with him. For a fellow Charleston Improvables member, Lane Healy, was also doing the feature act spot last night. Great time with him. He also had a great set. He always does. And be sure to come out July 19th for our next Charleston Improbable show. It's going to be in Somerville, Flowertown Theater. Tickets are available. You can head over to the website now, pick them up, and hope to see you out there. It's going to be a fun time. Charleston Improbables, every show's different because every show's made up there on the spot from you, the audience, and it's always a great time. Come out and see us. Tonight, if you're in the Folly Beach area, want to get out to the beach, enjoy a nice, hot, steamy summer night. First night officially of summer. Solstice was yesterday. But hot, steamy nights of summer are here now in Charleston. And if you want to get out to Folly Beach and enjoy it, check out Loggerheads. Suburban Myth. They're going to be playing from 10 to 1 out there this evening. Great time, great show. Always love checking out Suburban Myth. And their new CD will be out next month. Looking forward to that. Welcome If Only. Title track is out now. In fact, it's a very intense song, and I think we'll take you to break with it. This is the title track off their first full-length CD, Suburban Myth, Welcome If Only. This is the title track, Welcome If Only. We'll have to break, and we'll be right back. Sunday morning Freedom Spin. Drew Howard Show.
Insanity is a stranger when you thought the road was straight. In the land of what if only, the dreams you have are all far and late. But the stranger wouldn't be stranger if you could see him in yourself. You know him in an instant, 'cause I've seen him in myself. Let me welcome one, let me welcome all. If only my mind was strong. If my mind was, let me welcome one, let me welcome all. I don't think that I belong.
Do you like chocolate milk? Well, if you like sweet but nutritious, you found the right place. KineticHiFi.com.
At 164 King Street, find an oasis of calm, the Charleston Library Society, celebrating the written word, dedicated to enlightened thought within an atmosphere of gentility and learning. Established in 1748, it's the South's oldest cultural institution, and you're invited to visit. Come experience the elegant main reading room, our children's center, and join in to enjoy our speakers series, concerts, and other fine programs. Affordable membership is available now and always at the Charleston Library Society.
To be pampered is to be treated with excessive care and attention. Considering Shim's Salon Spa has been named Salon of the Year by Modern Salon Magazine, you can expect that's just what you'll get. With over 20 years of experience in pampering and beautifying the Lowcountry, Lori and her team focus on the needs of each client. Shim Salon Spa is a full-service boutique offering the latest in color and hair artistic creations for women and men, along with the most innovative and relaxing spa experience anywhere. Relax, renew, and reinvent yourself. Located at 506 Live Oak Drive in Mount Pleasant, behind Page's Ochre Grill. Call Shim Salon Spa today at 843-656-2506. That's 656-2506. Or visit their website at shimsalonspa.com.
Well, hey, this is Scott Mann from Wave 104.1 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And even though you probably don't know who the hell I am, you should know who Brian T. Shirley is. You like to laugh? Of course you do. That's why you're a comedy fan. Well, head down to your favorite bookstore or just go to that store's website and order the comedy books Make Love Not Warts and 407 Beers Ago by comedian Brian T. Shirley. Brian's written 2 books full of crazy proverbs and silly sayings that are available worldwide for ebook downloads or in paperback. You can even get a signed copy by going to Brian's website at briantshirley.webs.com.
For the 3rd year in a row, Condé Nast Traveler is named Charleston, South Carolina, the world's best city. Now, a radio station that brings Charleston to the rest of the world. You're listening to KineticHiFi.com.
Choosing free will proves free will. So I don't know what these scientists are smoking on over there in the UK, but that's what they're saying, is that free will is an illusion. Free will isn't real. That rhymes, but free will isn't real. It's all an illusion. Coming out of the independent.uk. Free will could be the result of background noise in the brain, study suggests. Scientists said, actually, it's at the University of California, Davis. It's just being reported through UK media. But at the University of California, Davis found that decisions could be predicted based on patterns of brain activity. And this is just playing into the New World Order and Illuminati's statements that they keep coming out making, saying that the future is written, the 21st century is already written, and all we have to do is read it. You know, you saw that in Captain America 2 with Sitwell saying that. And I think that's completely bunk. I think it's a way to try to keep people depressed, try to keep them enslaved. If you think you have no choices, then you're not going to try to make choices. You're not going to stand up. You know, to reference the Lego movie, you're going to stay controlled and only care about your chicken wings and giant sausages and croissants and not think that you can build anything, not imagine what you can build. And that was really the whole beauty of the Lego movie. You know, to quote Lord Business, it got into a little bit of hippy dippy baloney there with everybody. This is the special, but everybody is the special. We all have a little special inside of us, and it's just finding that. The concept of free will could be little more than the result of background noise in the brain, according to a recent study. It has previously been suggested that our perceived ability to make autonomous choices is an illusion, and now scientists from the Center for Mind and Brain at University of California, Davis have found that free will may actually be the result of electrical activity in the brain. Well, yeah, everything's the result of getting tongue-tied this morning. Everything is the result of electrical activity in the brain. It's electrical synapses in our brain that make us work to begin with. That's what thoughts are. They're tiny electronic connections being made between your cells in your brain, between your different lobes. So that's what it is. It's not an illusion. I think pretty sure that's not an illusion. It's real. It's tangible. It's like free will is real and tangible. It's the greatest gift God gave us. It's what allows us to seek out our desires, our ambitions, our dreams. It motivates us. Free will is what gets us on the radio here each week, trying to wake up the masses, trying to get people to realize that we are being taken over and we are being destroyed from within by corrupt elements within our government. Is our whole government bad? No. Corrupt elements within there are running things. And it's done through compartmentalization. And you know, let me get into this real quick. This is something that really irritates me. I saw this last night. A friend of mine posted on Facebook. It's like, you know, I can't believe that the government could be behind 9/11 because, or Sandy Hook, or any of these other false flags. He called out 9/11 and Sandy Hook. Those were the two in his Facebook post. But I can't believe that they're behind it because they can't even balance a budget. I mean, they can't run a park service. How are they pulling off massive conspiracy cover-ups and it's not getting leaked? And that's a common thought. You hear that a lot. And you know how they're doing it? It's called compartmentalization. Very few people know the whole plan. Other people just play their parts. They don't realize how their parts fit into the whole. A lot of people go along making these events happen thinking they're doing good things, that they're doing honorable things, that they're working for good. Yeah, I'm going to play a clip here from the movie JFK. It's Donald Sutherland. Mr. X is his character's name. Meeting with Kevin Costner's character, Jim Garrison, where he's telling him about how coup d'etats work, how things, how this could have happened, and the issues, the things that went against protocol that happened in the Kennedy assassination. But it's the same concept in the same way that it worked with 9/11, where do you think the painters knew that they were painting the thermite onto the walls when they were in there painting it? No, they thought they were just giving it a fresh coat of paint. They didn't realize what they were doing. You know, very few people. Do you think that the control towers knew what they were doing when they were under the impression it was a drill? That's why we have the recording on there. Is this live or is this part of the drill? One of them making that statement. But again, people don't know. They have plausible deniability.
After I came back, I
This explains. It's a little long clip, but it covers a lot. Great movie. Oliver Stone's JFK. Check it out.
That any number of others could have done. And I wondered if it could have been because one of my routine duties, if I had been in Washington, would have been to arrange for additional security in Texas. So I decided to check it out. And sure enough, I found out that someone had told the 112th Military Intelligence Group at 4th Army Headquarters at Fort Sam Houston to stand down that day over the protests of the unit commander, Colonel Reich.
I believe it's a mistake.
This is significant because it is standard operating procedure, especially in a known hostile city like Dallas, to supplement the Secret Service. I mean, even if we had not allowed the bubble top to be removed from the limousine, we would have placed at least 100 to 200 agents on the sidewalk without question. I mean, only a month before in Dallas, UN Ambassador Adlai Stevenson was spit on and hit. There had already been several attempts on de Gaulle's life in France. We would have arrived days ahead of time, studied the route, checked all the buildings, never would have allowed all those wide open empty windows overlooking Dealey, never. We'd have had our own snipers covering the area. The minute a window went up, they'd have been on the radio. We'd have been watching the crowd, packages, rolled up newspapers, coat over and out. Never would have let a man open an umbrella along the way. Never would have allowed that limousine to slow down to 10 miles an hour, much less take that unusual curve at Houston and Elm. You would have felt an Army presence in the streets that day. None of this happened. It was a violation of the most basic protection codes we have, and it is the best indication of a massive plot in Dallas. Now, who could have best done this? Black Ops, Mr. Garrison. People in my business, people like my superior officer could have called Colonel Reich and said, look, we have another unit coming from so-and-so providing security. You'll stand down. I mean, that day, in fact, there were some individual Army intelligence people in Dallas. I'm still trying to figure out who and why. But they weren't protecting the client. And, of course, Oswald. Army Intel had a Harvey Lee Oswald on file. But all those files have been destroyed. Many strange things were happening, and your Lee Harvey Oswald had nothing to do with them. We had the entire cabinet on a trip to the Far East. We had 1/3 of a combat division returning from Germany in the air above the United States at the time of the shooting. At 12:34 p.m., the entire telephone system went out in Washington for a solid hour. And on the plane back to Washington, word was radioed from the White House Situations Room to Lyndon Johnson that one individual performed the assassination. Does that sound like a bunch of coincidences to you, Mr. Garrison? No. Not for one moment. The cabinet was out of the country to get their perceptions out of the way. Troops were in the air for possible riot control. The telephones didn't work to keep the wrong stories from spreading if anything went wrong with the plan. Nothing was left to chance. He could not be allowed to escape alive. Well, I never thought things were the same after that. Vietnam started for real. There was an air of, I don't know, make-believe in the Pentagon and CIA. Those of us who'd been in secret ops since the beginning knew the Warren Commission was fiction. But there was something deeper, uglier. I knew Alan Dulles very well. I'd briefed him many a time in his house. But for the life of me, I still can't figure out why he was appointed to investigate Kennedy's death, the man who had fired him. Dulles, by the way, was General Wyeth's benefactor. I got out in '64, resigned my commission.
I never realized Kennedy was so dangerous to the establishment. Is that why?
Well, that's a real question, isn't it? Why? The how and the who is just scenery for the public. Oswald, Ruby, Cuba, the mafia. Keeps them guessing like some kind of parlor game, prevents them from asking the most important question, why? And why was Kennedy killed? Who benefited? Who has the power to cover it up? Who?
And that's how the government pulls off mass cover-ups. That's how they pull off false flags. They keep it very compartmentalized. Very few people know the entire picture. And most of what you see is hidden so many levels into what you're actually doing that it takes a while to piece things together. That's why we need whistleblowers to come forward. That's why we need people that if they feel that something was out of place, say it. You know, get it out there. That's how we've busted so much going on with 9/11, with Boston, with Sandy Hook, with you name it, false flags, 7/7 over in England. You know, there are certain things that always happen. There's always a drill going on for plausible deniability. There's always mass cover-ups. You're going to see phone systems go down, things like that. Like he talked about, even in '63, they cut the phone system in D.C. to keep the fake stories from spreading. Don't listen to these researchers at California Davis. Exercise your free will. Think for yourself. That's really the only way we can turn this around. Think for yourself. Be honest with everybody. Be excellent to each other, as we always end the show with. And that's how we're going to take back the country. That's how we're going to take back the world and beat back the New World Order. Putin orders troops into combat alert. We talked about this yesterday. He's looking to help Iran if things go south. Plus, he's also offering help to Iraq with how it's going south, considering we're supporting ISIS. So John McCain went and had barbecue with last year on Memorial Day. We talked about it. John McCain, mentioning him, he's upset over a hot mic disc from MSNBC host Chuck Todd, who was reportedly caught joking about McCain having heart palpitations upon discovering that former General David Petraeus opposed further intervention in Iraq. It's not like further evidence was needed to prove the liberal bias at MSNBC and the mainstream media, but Chuck Todd's hot mic's comments asking if anyone checked on Senator McCain for heart palpitations over General Petraeus' remarks on Iraq showed just how quickly the media will try and discredit Senator McCain and anyone who questions Obama, McCain's communication director Brian Rogers said in a statement. Well, considering your employer there, Mr. Rogers, is a lying, traitorous sack of scum who wants to give amnesty to anybody that can make it here to America, like we're playing Capture the Flag and this is base. You know, I really don't care anything you have to say, considering he went over there and he aided and abetted these terrorists. Maybe he has a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome from his bamboo cage in Vietnam. You know, oh, I know, I'm supposed to worship at the feet of McCain because he was a Vietnam POW. Well, anybody ever think what maybe that did to his mind? Maybe it scrambled his brain over there, shoving bamboo reeds up underneath of his fingernails? Chinese water torture, you name it? Maybe he doesn't have the best mental capacity to be a senator for a long term. It's just my thoughts. And his little friend, Lindsey Graham, Gramnesty, disgrace of South Carolina. They're both turds in the punch bowl, folks. Really, McCain and Graham they're cut from the same cloth. They're two turds in the punch bowl, and they're floating. So sick and tired of the average public out there that just wants to bury their head in the sand, that just wants to sign over all of their free will. That's the real reason why they're saying that free will is an illusion. It's because it gives you the blanket statement. It's the blanket statement to cover you, to give up your free will, to say, well, I don't have to make any choices. Put the implant in my brain. Put the chip in my brain. Control me. Make me an autonomous robot. I don't want to think for myself. Where's the fun in that? Rand Paul proposes legislation to stop in-run around the Second Amendment. That's a breaking story at Infowars.com. It's a Kurt Nimmo report that's coming out now. Senator Rand Paul is attempting to prevent the Obama administration from making an in-run around the Constitution. On Thursday, Paul introduced legislation to amend Commerce, Justice, Science, and Related Agencies Appropriations Act for the 2015 budget. The amendment would prohibit the federal government from providing funds to Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, so FDIC, or Department of Justice, to target gun and ammunition companies. Because that's how we're really seeing the attack go towards the gun manufacturers and the gun retailers, is through the FDIC. They're not offering any form of credit. They're labeling gun manufacturers and gun retailers under the same distinction as your cash advance places, your pornography stores, your tobacco accessory stores, your lottery centers. They're putting it under the same kind of distinction as that. The FDIC is collaborating at the behest of Barack Obama with the DOJ to force gun stores out of business, according to AmmoLand.com. Already, scores of gun dealers have complained that their banks have cut their credit or otherwise put pressure on them. It's called Operation Choke Point. There's a great David Knight video that's up on Infowars.com that talks about it, everything that's going on with the Justice Department, Operation Choke Point. They're basically cutting off the funding. And you take the money out of it, and that's why you don't see small businesses anymore. It's because they've made it so expensive to start one, and there's no funding outside of crowdsourcing. And really, you already have to have a name for it. The most popular crowdsourcing we've seen out there has been not for ideas, but for names, for Veronica Mars, to bring back a movie for that. I'm excited about the Reading Rainbow crowdfunding. I'm glad that it's making so much money. I want them to bring Reading Rainbow back. I still say Reading Rainbow is the real reason why I question everything, why I'm a conspiracy theorist, why I'm a free thinker. It goes back to LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow and him closing out every book review with one simple statement. Give me a moment to get it keyed up while we keep talking about gun rights being taken and cutting off the gun money. Yeah, I am glad Reading Rainbow's coming back. I really am. It's a great show. You know, one day when I have kids, they'll watch it. It's a great show. And here's the reason why I'm a conspiracy
there's some other
theorist.
books that you might like, but you don't have to take my word for it.
I didn't take his word for it. I asked the questions. I checked it out myself. And that's the whole reason why I'm a conspiracy theorist, why I question everything. It did get me in trouble early on, but I'm a free thinker thanks to Reading Rainbow. I also have a passion for reading thanks to Reading Rainbow.
I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow.
A little moment of happiness this morning, the Reading Rainbow theme song. Did a joke last night out at Pug's Tavern about Reading Rainbow and then bringing it back and how happy I am for it. Did a callback to it in another joke talking about going to Pizza Hut with the little book it button from Reading Rainbow, where you filled it up with the little star stickers for reading books. You get a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. It's fun times. Fun times. We took a field trip in second grade to Pizza Hut. Saw how they made pizza. Didn't see the yoga mats and things like that in the pizza dough, but didn't know about the chemicals in it at that time. At least I didn't because I was a kid. Didn't know about pollution thanks to Captain America, another great show. Or not Captain America, Captain Planet. Freudian slip there. Thanks to Captain Planet, knew about pollution. And it's another great show. Another great LeVar Burton show, actually. He was the voice of Kwame on there. And did the voiceover for the intro of Captain Planet. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's an interesting conspiracy out there that the kids from the Magic School Bus grew up to be the Planeteers. And if you look at them, they look exactly the same. They're even wearing the same clothes, just younger. So, it was interesting thing. And Magic School Bus, another great song. Miss Frizzle was a witch. Of course, she was ginger, had a lizard. Not even going into the Enchanted School Bus, just the lizard proves that she's a witch.
In peril. Gaia, the spirit of the earth, can no longer stand the terrible destruction plaguing our planet. She sends 5 magic rings to 5 special young people, qualified from Africa with the power of Earth. From North America.
Yeah, Captain Planet, great show. Yeah, we need more shows like that. And even if it was produced and created by, globalist eugenicist Ted Turner, still a great show. A lot of good values in there. You don't see cartoons like that anymore. It's all dumbed down. It looks like weird acid trips or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird stuff. And you saw South Park kind of get into how weird the cartoons are now with Chim Pokemon back in the 3rd season. They've really gotten into it. Then again, in Quest for Ratings, was that season 6, 8? One of the two. A little off this morning. I'm not getting my South Park anthologies quite correct, but Quest for Ratings was another one where they talked about how dumbed down the TV's getting. So you see Matt and Trey taking it on a lot. That's basically what I'm getting to. This is a story I wanted to get to real quick before we get to the second break here, first hour. Texan told to remove American flag because it's a threat to Muslims. This is coming out of Texas, obviously because he's a Texan. But El Dorado, the Lodge of El Dorado in Webster, Texas, released a press release to reporters stating that while management admires our residents' patriotism, they must maintain the aesthetics of our apartment community and provide for the safety of all residents. And we're seeing this a lot where if you're flying a Gadsden flag, if you're flying an American flag, if you're flying a Culpeper flag, if you're flying any kind of patriotic banner, anything with a cross on it or Christian symbol, you're asked to take it down. It's happening in apartment condo complexes all across the country. Homeowners associations are doing it for actual houses across the country, and they're really limiting what you can and can't do in your own house. And we got to ask the question, aren't you the king of your castle, master of your domain? Shouldn't you be allowed to do in your property or in your rental place what you want to do? If you want to put up an American flag, how is that a threat to Muslims? And they go on to tell him here that it's inciting violence, that it's asking for them to be attacked in a terrorist attack. Folks, more people are killed each year by sharks. More people are killed each year by bee stings. More people are killed each year by heart attacks on the toilet like Elvis than die from terrorism or mass shootings. I'm sick and tired of everybody running around here in fear. The terrorists are coming. The terrorists are coming. Yeah, they're coming from the CIA. They're coming from the FBI. They're coming from the Justice Department. They're coming from your local police forces. They're the terrorists. They're the ones terrorizing you. And if you ask any cop, they're going to tell you, oh, the general public's killing us in such mass numbers. No, according to the Justice Department's own numbers, cop killings are down. Unless you get into just pure liberal hellholes like Chicago or D.C. or New York. I'm going to leave my flag there as an American until she shows me proof that I don't have the right to leave my flag there, he said. I have friends that died for this country. What really... I don't understand how this is a threat towards Muslims displaying an American flag. If you're in this country, you're going to see the flag of this country. If you don't like it, go back to your country where you're from. Or go back to a Muslim country. If you're that offended by the American flag that it's a threat to you, obviously you want to live under Sharia law, so go to one of the countries that has it. Go to Iran. Go live under the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. The fact is, you don't want to. You enjoy your American way of life. You want your loophole to have both. That's the problem. And yes, Western values don't match up with the tenets of Islam. There's not two ways to make this culture coexist. So you go do your thing and we do ours. Denver police search every vehicle, set up checkpoint following a concert shooting. This was in Red Rock Amphitheater Thursday night, shooting outside of it, putting every person through a mandatory checkpoint. The shooting, which left 3 people with non-life-threatening injuries, occurred in the parking lot following performances by rappers Nas, Flying Lotus, and Schoolboy Q. And again, rap culture promotes violence. Rap culture promotes violence, and we see this time and time again. It's this street mentality culture, and it's destroying our youth. Rand Paul said there was an attack on babies through the abortion movement, an attack on Christianity through that. Well, we're seeing a two-fronted attack on the black community, both through abortion and through street culture. But nobody wants to talk about it. It's not politically correct to say that. We have to celebrate it, like this idiot guy that was arrested in Stockton that now you're seeing they're photoshopping him into Calvin Klein ads, and all these people on message boards are like, well, he'll get out of jail and he can have a great career as a model. It's going to be a success story. He's going to turn his life around. The cops have said he's one of Stockton's most violent career criminals. Do you think he's going to go be a model? No. If he is, he's going to end up killing somebody there. He's an animal that needs to be put down. But because he has high cheekbones and nice eyes, everybody doesn't see that. Look past the outside beauty and see what's inside. There you see darkness. There you see destruction. But nobody wants to take that. They want to take it at face value. They want to take what you see on the outside. And beautiful people can't be criminals. Beautiful people can't be bad. That's how you got sucked into the lie that is Barack Obama. Barry Soetoro, whatever you want to call him. You got sucked in because he's aesthetically appeasing to you. Common Core conservative litmus test for gauging candidates. Common Core's got to go. Common Core's got to go. Jeb Bush supports Common Core. Another reason why we don't need to get rid of him. So, we're going to go. Let's get to the second break here. We'll go ahead and take that. You're listening to the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin. I am your host, Drew Howard. You're on KineticHiFi.com, SpreakerWebRadio.com. Of course, all of our archives are at Spreaker Web Radio. You can also check out our Facebook.com, Facebook.com/Sit and Spin Radio Network now. It's been a radio network coming to you. We're glad to be here. Myself, Nick O'Kelly. You'll have Nick O'Kelly after 11 o'clock taking over with the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly. So let's take you out with a little Eagles this morning. Mellow things out. Get happy. It's a happy day. It's a beautiful Sunday here in the Low Country. Suburban Myth tonight out at Loggerheads, Folly Beach. Get out there. Head out to Folly Beach early. Have dinner. Have dinner at Loggerheads. Have dinner at Taco Boy. If you're like me, head down to Burt's, get a hot dog. I think that's what I'm going to do. I haven't had a Burt's hot dog in a while. I'm going to listen to some Eagles when I ride out there tonight. This is a very, very,
There is moonlight and moss in the trees.
Since been radio.
Down the 7 Bridges Road. Now I have loved you like a baby, like some lonesome child, and
Hey, this is Junior Reed, and when I'm in South Carolina, I stay tuned to Kinetic Hi-Fi for the best in music, see? So hear this. Gunshot of fire, bodies on the floor, cops on the block, kicking down the door, it's crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. Hey, stand your horn, being in the streets, it's all without a job. That's why no youths are out there and a rob, it's crazy. Whoa, it's crazy. And don't forget, it's Kinetic Hi-Fi, man, see?
Look, it's simple. Maximizing communication is the single most effective means of maximizing profitability. The most powerful tool at a dentist's disposal is an organized, effective team. But what dentist can afford to close their practice and carry their team to costly retreats? What you need is a highly specialized program designed to address issues of motivation, communication, inspiration, vision, and leadership to ensure success. And you need it now. Dr. Chilcutt's dental team turnaround courses are far more effective than far-flung alternatives. And the best part, at a quarter the cost of expensive retreats, these courses can be completed in the comfort and familiar surroundings of your own office. Save time, save money, save your sanity. Equip, empower, and enrich your practice today by visiting dentalteamturnaround.com. That's dentalteamturnaround.com. Or call Dr. Chilcutt directly at 205-765-4459. That's 205-765-4459.
Hi, this is Bob Charles, the host of The Bob Charles Show. I very rarely endorse anything, but this service deserves my attention. Atlantic Repair LLC is the only credit restoration company that is actually headquartered here in Charleston, South Carolina. Unlike other companies that overcharge you because a middleman gets paid and then your credit report goes to Poland packed in sauerkraut. This company is here to help all of us and our credit problems like low scores, collections, judgments, inquiries, and a bunch of more bad stuff. Call Atlantic Repair LLC at 888-957-1118. They are the one company in South Carolina that charges 50% less than any other service on the planet, and no monthly fees either. They work till they are done. They get my vote. Now it's your turn. Call 888-957-1118 or go to www.atlanticrepairllc.com and follow the directions on page 1. They care for you.
At 164 King Street, find an oasis of calm, the Charleston Library Society, celebrating the written word, dedicated to enlightened thought within an atmosphere of gentility and learning. Established in 1748, it's the South's oldest cultural institution, and you're invited to visit. Come experience the elegant main reading room, our children's center, and join in to enjoy our speakers series, concerts, and other fine programs. Affordable membership is available now and always at the Charleston Library Society.
You're listening to Kinetic Hi-Fi in Charleston, Samalama.
Bring it.
The New World Order is going down. And we're beating them back. We're beating them back by getting the truth out there. That's why it's so important that if you're listening to Sit and Spin Radio Network, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your people that you see, that you hang out with. Tell them, check out Sit and Spin Radio Network. Check out the archives at Spreaker.com. Listen to us live each week here. Jump in the chat box, become part of the show. Now it's more important than ever that we get the truth out, that we wake people up to this tyranny, to this total takeover that's happening of our way of life. And it's time we turn the tide. It's time we take back liberty. This is the summer of liberty. Summer's officially here. Today's the first day of it. Of course, yesterday being the summer solstice, longest day of the year. We've seen all kinds of New Age and Druids celebrating in the plains in Great Britain and the UK around Stonehenge. Always a big day there. Got a story coming out of FoxNews.com. Louisiana man gets 80 stitches after encounter with an 11-foot alligator. Louisiana man received 80 stitches after he and his pals tried to move an 11-foot alligator from the middle of a road. Glenn Ballin of Sulphur and 3 of his friends spotted the alligator on the road they were traveling and decided to move it out of the way, KPLC reported. We took our shirts off, threw it on the gator's face, and we were going to come from behind and jump on it. In the process of doing that, it spun around and grabbed my hand seconds before we jumped on it, he told the station. Goes on to say, I've always been the kind of guy who learns the hard way. The incident was caught on video, and that's what you do. You know, you put a bag or something over its head so it can't see you. You jump on it, keep it under control, and then you get some tape and you tie its mouth shut. You can hold its mouth shut with your hands. It doesn't have a lot of power to open its mouth, but you just you hold its mouth shut, and that's what you do. And then you tape it shut, and then you move it. It's safe, but it's not safe. It's risky business, but you see it done on TV all the time, and you know people need to learn to handle things. You know, back in the old days, people would know how to move an alligator without shooting in the head like they did out at Folly Beach. But again, that was nuisance gator, couldn't be moved. And these guys probably knew if they called in wildlife, if they called in DNR, it would be killed. So, hats off to him. He learned the hard way, but definitely hats off to him for trying. And they gave it the good old college try there. Valerie Jarrett dining with Rupert Murdoch over immigration strategies. Do you need any more proof that this is a complete takeover system? Both red and blue are pushing through amnesty to destroy this country. They no longer work for the American people. Both groups, both politicians, red and blue, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, whatever you want to call them, they both work for the global offshore banking elite who control this country. The real owners, as George Carlin said, of this country. And that is all about destruction. They're done with America. It's time to bring down the American people. We've been too affluent. We've had too much freedom, too much liberty. And middle class is liberty. Middle class is freedom. You know, you get economic freedom, you get some economic security, and you expand, you grow, you build your business. This is everything that the Obama administration stand against. We see... This is a funny story coming out of Breitbart.com here in conjunction to the Lois Lerner emails that are missing. You know, we talked about this yesterday. 2 years of missing emails that they just can't find from when the IRS was targeting Tea Party, conservative, Christian, libertarian groups. How about during that time it's now found out that the IRS had a contract with an email backup company? Lost emails, the IRS has a contract with an email backup company. This is coming out of Breitbart.com. IRS Commissioner John Costin sat on Capitol Hill belatedly informing a congressional committee of the disappearance of years of email communications from a host of IRS employees under investigation, including Lois Lerner, discovered that the IRS had hired an email backup company to prevent such a data loss. After the commissioner's testimony, a Twitter user went hunting for info on the IRS and discovered that as far back as 2005, a company named Sonasoft had announced that it had been awarded a data backup contract from the IRS. Even as late as 2009, the company had tweeted about its association with the taxing agency. So what happened here at Sonasoft? Does Sonasoft have the emails? Does he even know of Sonasoft's existence? The article goes on to ask. Good article. It's on Breitbart.com. Check it out. There's a lot more to this Lois Lerner story. There's a lot more to this IRS story. Of course, they're targeting political groups that are against them. We've seen Justice Department using its full scope to target people. You're doing armed SWAT team raids from the IRS at small businesses, guitar companies, produce manufacturers, you name it. You're seeing all that there, and this is causing this brewing threat that's underlying, like Bobby Jindal was talking about. That's really giving way to this rising tide, and if the tide's not stemmed soon, I think you are going to see, unfortunately, a violent conflict, and that's the last thing we want. Well, that's the last thing we need. We're winning the knowledge battles. We're really getting the information out there, and people are waking up to the truth. They understand that the police forces aren't there to serve and protect. They're there to humiliate and belittle you. They're there to shoot your dog and molest you and possibly tase you till you're in a coma. We got hundreds of toddlers more being taken in, and that's the real reason why they're pushing kids across the border, and that's why the Obama administration now is admitting that the rumors that they started coming out of the White House are what's causing this mass exodus to America, if you will, is because of rumors that the White House put out saying, you get here, you're safe, we'll give you amnesty. And the reason why they pushed it out to push for kids is because they can tug at the heartstrings of most common Americans. Most Americans still put women and children first. Migrants amassing at the Rio Grande's edge. Shelters packed with migrants planning to cross the river. So we've got them sitting on the Mexican side. We know they're coming.
Running for violence, trying to get into
got a news report here.
12 News and the Arizona Republic have teamed up to tell their stories. Daniel Gonzalez reports from Central America on Border Patrol efforts to stop the sudden surge.
We're standing at the exact spot where just a short while ago we witnessed the Border Patrol taking into custody a group of about 12 women and children. Behind me is the Ángel Duas Bridge, and just a little ways over there is the Rio Grande. We talked to some of the women, and they told us they were from Honduras. Just a few minutes later, a pickup truck pulled up down below, and there were some wardens from Texas Game and Fish. We walked over there. In the back of the pickup truck were two women with two very young children. We asked them, where are you from? And they told us they were from El Salvador. They told us early in the morning, in the dark, they had crossed the Rio Grande on some rafts. And as I'm talking to you right now, I can see another group of people walking up the road. After going to take a closer look, we saw it was two young boys walking completely by themselves. One boy looked to be about 8 or 9, the other one maybe 10 or 11. They walked up the road, they sat down, and within a minute, a Border Patrol van came. The agent got out. We heard the boys telling the agent they were from Honduras. They got in the van, and within a couple minutes, they were gone. For these two boys, their attempt to enter the United States has been successful. The question is, what will happen to them, and how many more are coming?
For more on this developing story, you can always log on to azcentral.com.
And the real reason why they're pushing this is the destruction of our borders to go ahead and get rid of United States sovereignty. The U.S. is the biggest threat to world government right now because we have the most freedoms afforded to us by our founding documents, by our Constitution. A lot of countries emulated it, but they never went to the levels that the Constitution did. Our founders put safeguards in there to protect us against the tyrannical government of democracy. They saw in Rome how quickly democracy can turn against the best interests of the people, particularly through propaganda, particularly through brainwashing control. Nothing is new here, folks. This has been time and time again throughout history. The brainwashed masses being controlled by the elite ruling class, the shamans, the priest. Now it's in media and marketing. Did a new marketing joke last night that played off very well. It's just mass marketing, mass media, the advertisements everywhere. The ad industry is really they're the magicians out there pulling the brainwashed secrets over the eyes of the masses. And it's time we stand up. It's time we wake up to what's going on around us and get back in the fight. Get energized, get motivated Tell people. You see people standing in line. Tell them about the New World Order. Tell them about the government taking over, taking their freedoms. I got behind somebody at Food Line the other night in line for 25 minutes because he was using 4 WIC checks. 25 minutes to go through and use the different WIC checks for the different items that they were approved for. It was ridiculous. And we're getting upwards of 50 million more people coming into this country to do that. It's going to stifle our business. You're going to wait in line all day just to buy a loaf of bread like we saw in Soviet Union during the death rows of communism. The worst parts of Russia's coming home to America now, and the Russians see this. That's why they're sitting back gloating and laughing. And we did it to ourselves. We did it to ourselves with this political correct BS where we handcuffed, where we got rid of our freedom of speech because we're afraid of how we're going to be perceived. I don't care. You can call me what you want to call me. You want to call me a racist? Call me a racist. You want to call me a homophobe? Call me a homophobe. You want to call me any other adjective you can think of? Call me that. I don't care. The fact is, I'm speaking the truth. We're getting it out there. We're saying the hard truths that nobody in this society wants to hear because they want to run around just like in Bricksburg in the Lego movie and keep thinking everything is awesome. Well, liberty is awesome. Freedom is awesome. Fighting for your rights is awesome. That's what we're going to do here heading to break. We're going to fight for our rights. Now, if I can get this pulled up. There's another time to get some plugs in here. Of course, head over to, tonight, head out to Loggerheads, Folly Beach. Having a brain slip there for a moment. I forgot the name of the venue. Loggerheads out at Folly Beach. It's Suburban Myth playing 10 to 1 tonight. 3-hour show. Always a fun time. I'll be out there for a little bit of it. Don't know if I'm going to stay the whole time, but I'll be out there for some of it. So swing by, say hi. It's going to be a fun time. Then this Thursday, there's a fun show coming up in Mount Pleasant you don't want to miss. It's a couple good friends of mine, Lane Healy and Jordan Rock, younger brother of Chris Rock. They'll be performing at the Water Dog Grill this Thursday night. Showtime's at 9 o'clock. Dave Ugly's hosting, another good friend of mine. So if you're in the Mount Pleasant area, get out there, check that out. So it's the summer of liberty. Got to fight for your rights, for everything, to party, to live. We're doing here a little Beastie Boys taking us out to break. This is the Sunday Morning Freedom Spin, the Drew Howard Show. Kinetic High Five, Spreaker Web Radio. Sit and Spin a radio.
That hypocrite smokes 2 packs a day. Man, living at home in such a trap. Now your mom threw away your best porno man. Bust it. You gotta fight for your right to vote.
That's right, you're listening to GetOutOfGuyVi.com. Stay tuned for Hot Chicks on the radio.
For America's wounded warriors, sometimes coming home can be a battle in itself. Every one of them needs our support to meet the challenges they face every day. The USO provides Americans a way to offer that support to our wounded warriors and their families. Join us. Visit USO.org to learn how you can make a difference in their lives. The USO, until everyone comes home.
It's a fact. Nearly 80% of us will have back pain at some point in our lives. And for some of us, it can be debilitating. If you live in the Charleston, South Carolina area and have any kind of back issue, Peninsula Chiropractic is your answer. Peninsula Chiropractic has a reputation built on great customer service and the results most chiropractors can't deliver. One patient and local firefighter says, "I have been a patient with Peninsula Chiropractic for nearly 10 years. Dr. Ty and Dr. Rob have treated me with the utmost skill, respect, and kindness as a person and a patient. I feel extremely confident with their skills and have recommended Peninsula Chiropractic to numerous people. Not to mention the relaxed relaxed atmosphere, and genuine caring staff that is Peninsula Chiropractic. Don't spend another day in pain. Call Peninsula Chiropractic today at 843-723-6475. That's 723-6475. Or visit the office, conveniently located within the Sergeant Jasper Building downtown at 310 Broad Street, number 2, Charleston, South Carolina.
Do you like chocolate milk? Well, if you like sweet but nutritious, you found the right place. KineticHiFi.com.
That bass line, do you even need lyrics? I mean, of course you do. Rubber Plant lyrics are amazing, but just love Led Zeppelin. Love Led Zeppelin, man. Over the Hills and Far Away bringing us back in this morning. Sunday morning Freedom Spin. We're normally halfway through the broadcast. Like I said, unfortunately this morning I do have to get out of here. We'll have a little bit of an original broadcast at the end. We're going to play a bit of the James Fetzer speech from the Free Your Mind 2 conference last year. I'll take you to the top of the next hour at 11 o'clock when Nick O'Kelly takes over for the Sunday Spin with Nick O'Kelly. All part of the Sunday morning Freedom Spin block right here on KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio. Of course, the archives are at Spreaker Web Radio. You can catch everything Nick O'Kelly and myself have done on the radio, at least with Sit and Spin Radio right there. Well, it came out Friday. I didn't think that the liberal leftist Democrats in this country could get any more stupid, but it came out Friday that apparently Joe Crowley is stupider than I thought he could be. He believes that questioning the IRS over the Lois Lerner emails is the equivalent to being a birther. Let's go ahead and play the clip here. It's Joe Crowley.
Put suspicious minds at ease today. The Inspector General for the IRS, a man named J. Russell George, who was a Republican political appointee of President George W. Bush, has already testified that Ms. Lerner did not learn about the inappropriate criteria being used in local Cincinnati IRS office until a meeting of June 29, 2011, at least 16 days after Ms. Lerner's hard drive crashed. Yes, her computer crashed more than 2 weeks before she was notified about the inappropriate actions happening in Cincinnati.
It crashed before we knew about it.
Continue to refuse to believe that the birth certificate from the state of Hawaii is actually real. A conspiracy theorist will continue to rattle sabers, but really, does anyone in this room want to be seen in that light? Commissioner,
see, it's all about your perceptions, folks. They're all about controlling you by how you act. You know, he comes out and he's like, you know, it's only suspicious minds that would think that kind of stuff. You know, and it's only you got to be a birther, or conspiracy theorist, or a flat earther, or global warming isn't real. It's all these suspicious minds. Yeah, little Elvis this morning there. Get me fired back up. Get into the last 27 minutes that I got for the rest of the show. We're probably going commercial free until the end here. We'll see how it goes. But, man, I'm fired up now, Mr. Crowley. Yeah, if you do this, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you ask questions about the emails, you're a conspiracy theorist. Her hard drive crashed 2 weeks before we knew anything about targeting, okay? This isn't a conspiracy to get rid of it. This isn't known. Do you not think 2 weeks before it broke in the media that people knew about this? They saw this storm coming? Of course they did. This was cleanup mode. This was getting rid of it. And if you can't see that, Representative Joe Crowley, then you're blind as a bat. Nothing's truly gone in this digital age, and you know it. The hard drive could be recovered. The emails could be recovered, but they're going to be the smoking gun. They're going to be the indictment of Lerner that proves that she called for it, probably that proves that the Justice Department and Obama himself called for this targeting. Cleveland, Mississippi. We're going there for our next story. This is about questions mounted about effort to drive Democratic votes for Cochran. Leroy Carter, a black preacher, is working to get out the vote among black Democrats for Senator Thad Cochran for the GOP primary runoff, told Breitbart News on Thursday. I still think, honest to God, but I do, because we haven't gotten them. He still thinks the slaves should get their 40 acres and a mule. He's calling for reparations. Got a video here of him standing outside the Bolivar County Courthouse.
I'm concerned about who's going to run the state of Mississippi. I'm concerned about politicians we send there. Mm-hmm. I'm concerned about helping to get somebody there that I feel like can do that, which is right. And don't misinterpret that as being I think that Cochran has done everything right. Mm-hmm. No, that's not the fact. Because I always told you that we wouldn't get nothing down here. The money don't trickle down to us. It might trickle down to somebody else, but not to us.
Okay, but this is the problem here: is we don't get nothing. The money don't trickle down to us. Then go up and get it. Work for it. Build. Don't believe in Obama's "you didn't build this" BS, and you want to sit here and have it given to you. No, go out and work. Start a small business. Start a store in your community. Start a restaurant in your community. Start a food truck. Do something of value. You know, there's a great company here in Charleston. I've been a fan of their products for about a year now. Got into it. I found out at the tea plantation, but it's the old Whaling Company soap. Here, it's handmade organic soaps made here in the Low Country. They sell them at the market, sell them at the tea plantation, a few other places around Charleston. You can get it, but it's a very small business. They have their origin of their company when you go down to the market, to their main place there in the old city market in downtown Charleston, and you can see it. And it's about their child had a bad eczema when it was a baby, and they used the organic goat's milk soaps to help with that over the processed chemical laden Johnson & Johnson or other big manufacturers, Lilly, those type of companies that make your soaps and all your chemical laden products. It's really natural, organic, great soaps, make your skin feel great. But they went out there and they built the business. They saw what they were doing. It helped their kid, and then they found a way to not only monetize it, but to help other people as well. And this is a area of the country in Mississippi where there's still a lot of racial divide, the article goes on to say. In fact, it's one of the areas where voting is the most segregated. 2008, for example, 88% of white voters cast a ballot for John McCain, while 98% of blacks voted for President Obama. Of course, that's the blind leadership of Barack Obama and other supposed leaders of the black community that we see. These are the ones that follow Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton blindly. They don't ask questions. You know, there are good leaders that are free thinkers, free will out there that you should follow, not these plantation overseers like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, because that's what they are. They're keeping you on the Democratic food stamp welfare plantation. You have to understand that you're more enslaved now than you were 150 years ago. And it's all thanks to people like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and your Democratic handlers. It's George Soros keeping you in slavery, in bondage. Step up and realize it. Follow people like Alan West, like Herman Cain, like Ben Carson, like Dr. I'm drawing a blank out of New York now. I'll think of him in a minute. He's doing the racial conference at Gettysburg next month for the anniversary to try to get healing going. James David Manning, Pastor James David Manning, out of New York there, out of Atala Worldwide. You know, great leaders who aren't going to sacrifice your community, promote abortion, which is killing 52% of black pregnancies now, are ending in abortion. It is genocide. But no, if you speak out against that, you're racist because Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson keep that plantation going that way. Call me whatever you want to call me. The fact is, I'm speaking the truth. I'm telling the hard truths, and it's time we wake up, come together, because divided we fall. Together we stand, divided we fall. Pink Floyd. A lot of other people said that. I personally use the Pink Floyd at the ending of Hey You. The last line in Hey You. That's where I quote it from because, well, Pink Floyd's a great band. Love them. We are all enslaved, folks. It's not a black issue. It's not a white issue. It's not a Hispanic issue. It is a haves and have-nots issue. It is a global elitist with their offshore accounts sitting in their armored redoubts terrorizing the mass public, and then it is who they view as the slaves, the second class, the serfdom, working for them. And they're about to replace us with robots. It's coming. The technocratic takeover is here. They don't need us. You know, that was one of the telling things in the Lego movie is that Lord Business, President Business, surrounded himself with robots. There were no real people working with him. They were all robots preparing for Taco Tuesday. Wake up, folks. It's time to get your head out of the sand. And I know it's easy. I know it's easy to bury your head in the sand, to not engage, to stay asleep, to think everything's great out there and that the world's happy and, you know, tomorrow will be brighter. But the only way tomorrow will be brighter is if today's darker. You know, it's like the old saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, it's about to be the April showers of liberty, and it's going to be dark days, storms on the horizon, unfortunately. Bobby Jindal's saying it now. We wake up. Now is the time, folks. This is dire. This is a red alert. We're 2 minutes to midnight here. Wake up now. This is the only chance to turn this. We're out of options here, folks. We are out of options. Our backs are against the wall. If we're going to do this peacefully, if we're going to do this without mass death, now is the time. And don't get me wrong. I know if we go to war with this, I know if they push it to a hot war, if they push it to cops versus soldiers in the streets, we will win. The globalists have lost that battle because liberty always wins. Liberty is sexy. People flock to it. They'll turn us into martyrs. It'll start with the alternative media. It'll start with us here at Sit and Spin Radio. Drudge, Matt Drudge will be taken out. Alex Jones, Michael Savage will probably be taken down. You'll see some go to jail. You'll see a lot killed in shady, suspicious events. Tying ourselves to train tracks and calling it a suicide. You know, being shot 6 times in the back of the head is a suicide. Things like that. It's going to be, we're going to be taken down first, Night of the Long Knife style. And then it's going to be everybody that thinks they're in bed with the system. They're going to turn on you next because you're too close. You know too much. I'm telling you what's coming, folks. I don't want it to happen. You know, I'm scared to death that Bobby Jindal's now raising up saying that the tide's there, it's happening. The tide's there, but I think our anger can squelch it before we get to that level. And the police need to realize they've been sold out too. We need you guys to be like in Italy, like in Greece. Lay down your riot shields. Don't fire on the population. Don't wrap yourself in this little blue line and fear anybody that's not on your side of it, which is what's happening. That's what I see with cops now. They're so afraid of the general public that they do view us as an enemy. They do view us as second-class scum, and they're ready to run over us with their MRAM tanks. And the mass people sitting there too dumbed down to even tie their shoes or find their seats at a baseball game. They're too dumbed down to read a ticket number and understand what a seat is. They just want to sit there and think everything is awesome because I'm taking selfies of myself.
Oh my gosh, I love this song. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when we're part of the team. Everything is awesome. Always use a turn signal. Park between the lines. Yes! Drop off dry cleaning before noon. Read the headlines. Don't forget to smile. Always root for the local sports team.
Go sports team.
Always return a compliment. Hey, you look nice. So do you. Drink overpriced coffee.
There you go. That's $37.
Awesome!
Always follow your instructions. Never speak out against the government. Never question. Stay asleep. It's like they live. Stay asleep. Everywhere you look, the billboards say obey, obey, obey. And this is exactly out of Rules of Radicals. True revolutionaries do not flaunt their radicalism. They cut their hair, put on suits, and infiltrate the system from within. Saul Alinsky said that in Rules for Radicals. He also said, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. You make it a personal attack. You call people, hey, you know what? You are a birther if you think that the emails were lost on purpose or that there's some greater cover-up here. This whole hiding behind the cloak of idiocracy doesn't work for you guys. You're not imbeciles. You wouldn't get to the positions you are if you were that stupid. You wouldn't be able to play the game to get there. So don't give me this. We're just completely incompetent. That's BS. That's Barry Soetoro. Either that or your handlers really did a great job of recruiting the brain damaged. Which maybe that's the case. You know, the more I'm seeing out of Lindsey Graham, the more I'm seeing out of John McCain, the more I'm seeing out of Joe Crowley. Maybe that's the case, is that we are just going out and finding the most brain damaged people we can find and putting them in power. Let's let the inmates run the asylum. Attorney Elliot Rodger used knife, hammer, and machete to kill roommates, but of course all the signs saying gun control now. Well, here's a funny one, product of MK Ultra, knife control now. It's a funny one that somebody put up that's awake there. I'm sure that's making people mad at the memorials there, but well, love that. Product of MK Ultra, ban the knives now. You can't ban the knife, you can't ban the iron rod. You know, quote Alex Jones, the iron rod didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Here we go. Got to get the clip pulled up. Sorry, folks.
Death with an iron rod 4 feet long. You can't ban the iron rods. The guns the iron rods pierced didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns.
That's right. That's right. Just like he said, don't try to take the guns. And they're coming to take the guns. They're bringing Mexicans to vote to take guns in El Salvador and Honduras and you know. America. Coming in a little hot there. Bang, bang. Another very intense Suburban Miss song. Love this one. They'll be playing it live tonight. The Loggerheads. Got a question. Are you going to be there? I'll be there. Come out, see this. Of course, see Welcome. Play some YOY. A bunch of their other great hits. My favorite, Blind Rage. You got to see that. It's an amazing song. One of the best guitar riffs they've got. Great lyrics. Just can't say enough. Blind Rage, easily my favorite song off the new CD. I'll say that. Conservatively, it's Blind Rage. Then Welcome. Yeah, good stuff. Come out, check that out. Be there, 10 to 1 tonight. Loggerheads, Folly Beach.
It's a nut that's loose. You just got in his way.
Listen a little bit more of this.
The rifle on his shoulder just waits for the pool. One shot, he hit the top. The sniper hits the bull. Bang, 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 bang. Now you're done, and the game's in his head. Bang, 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 bang. Tell me wrong, was it something that you said? What is wrong? To him it's so right. What is wrong? He's got you in his sights. An eye for an eye. He'll never feel your pain. A life for a life. 50 minutes of fame.
51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them. Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. I would have done it. I could not do that. The votes weren't here.
That was Dianne Feinstein saying she wants to take your guns. And this is part of the gun culture that we're seeing. Why, even though Elliot Rodger used knives, used a hammer, used his car, we're still, guns are bad. It's the guns. And we got the victim's dad out there crying, take the guns. The NRA killed my son. So, yeah, and here's the official count. He killed 3 roommates with a knife, a hammer, and a machete. He used a gun to shoot and kill 3 more and tried to use his car to try to kill 4 more. So if he had succeeded, more people would have died with his car than any of the other weapons. So are we calling to ban the BMWs? Are we calling to ban the cars? Let's ban the cars. Let's get them off the road. I'm tired of getting stuck in traffic. I'm tired of seeing idiots driving down the road while they're eating or texting, or they're like Rob Ford reading the paper, doing work while he's driving down the road. Great Rob Ford video with that one. You want some good laughs, folks? Look up Rob Ford on YouTube. He's got some great moments, and he's still a better mayor than Mayor Joe Riley. At least Rob Ford understands that tourism is the key to economic security in this economy. So here we go. At the end of the show here, like I said, unfortunately I got to get out. Normally I'd be here with you to the top of the hour on Sunday morning for the Drew Howard Show. But unfortunately this morning do have some things going on in the Charleston area. It's a beautiful day, and gonna have to get out of here. As always, want to leave you with a few words of thoughts, a few words of wisdom. Really, it's the way that we can stand up to the New World Order, to the way that we beat them back. They want us in fear. They want us scared. They want us hating each other. They want us angry. But we don't do that. As long as we're not in fear and anger. Remember what Yoda said. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hatred. Hatred leads to suffering. The tenets of the Jedi. And really the best way to not be afraid of each other, to not live in fear, is to follow one simple rule with 2 parts. But it's one simple rule. It's a very, very intense rule. But it's easy to follow. All you got to do is look inward. And that rule is,
be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!
So remember, in everything you do out there, just be excellent to each other. You see another fellow human being out there on the street, be excellent to him. See him in a restaurant, be excellent to him. You see him in a store, be excellent to him. Your kindness, compassion, can wake people up. And that's the only way we're going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and leave you. One more Elvis Presley. I'm feeling that this morning on Sunday morning. Maybe I do have a suspicious mind. Because I'm a terrorist. I'm a traitor. I question losing the emails from the IRS. So put me on the level with the birthers. I don't think he's Kenyan. Been over this time and time again. I think Obama's birth certificate's hiding something. I think little Mr. Barry Soetoro is hiding a lot on his birth certificate. Namely, that his father is communist pornographer Frank Marshall Davis. You can look into the book Dreams of My Real Father by Joel Gilbert. Good film also. Gets to the bottom of it, and I really think Frank Marshall Davis, communist pornographer, was Barack Obama's daddy. Maybe that makes me have suspicious minds. Anyways, we're out of here. This has been the Drew Howard Show. We'll have the little bit of Jim Fetzer from last year at the Free Your Mind 2 conference, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Coming up, it'll take you to the top of the hour, and then Nick O'Kelly's got you then for the Sunday morning spin with Nick O'Kelly. We'll be talking a lot about the Suburban Miss show tonight. They were awesome Friday night at the Mill. Get out there, see them loggerheads tonight. I'll be at the Sparrow tomorrow night in Park Circle after 9 p.m. doing some stand-up comedy, trying some new stuff. My buddy Ryan Furster's featuring out there tomorrow. Don't want to miss it. Awesome time. See you there, and we'll see you Saturday morning, weekend Sit and Spin, KineticHiFi.com, Spreaker Web Radio, Sit and Spin Radio Network. Have a great week.
Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
Today is a lovely day. Your kinetic hi-fi, yeah. That's right, baby. You're listening to